7.5 hours for anything that you enjoy is way too long. Way too long. You can sit down and watch your favorite band perform for 7.5 hours. It won't be enjoyable by hour 4. It won't. I'm being completely honest with you. I love Miles Kennedy. I love Alter Bridge. I love Russell Allen, Symphony X. You guys know my deal. My two most favorite bands on the face of the planet. Would I sit down and watch them perform for 7.5 hours? No, I won't. I'm a huge fan of the Atlanta Braves, depending on the situation that they're in, only if it's a Game 7, because every pitch would be important. Every match at WrestleMania is not important. I would not watch a game, well, actually I would, but normally I would not watch a 7.5 hour baseball game. That really means nothing. If they win, they win. They lose, they lose. I'm not watching a 7.5 hour baseball game just for the simple fact I've been a fan of the team for over 25 years. It's not what I want to do, no matter how much I love the team. I would not go out and spend 7.5 hours with the guys drinking the night away. I would not be holed up on a snowy day like today having sex for 7.5 hours. Not something that I want to do. Straight. Anything for 7.5 hours is way too long, and it's incredibly overwhelming. The point I'm trying to get at is, the one thing we can all sit and be in agreement on is that last year, WrestleMania 33 was way too long. And the modern standard for WWE right now when it comes to WrestleMania is the longer the show, the more matches that are on the show, the better and more epic the show will be. And WWE is not the only guilty party here. 6.5 hours of Wrestle Kingdom in January made me want to kill myself. Especially for a product that I don't fully understand, or I'm not invested in most of the matches that are on there, outside of the main reason why I purchased the event anyway was because of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. There was nothing on that show that made me want to sit and watch 6.5 hours worth of wrestling matches. I don't want to do it. I recall when I was called on to do commentary for a recent House of Glory event, and the event almost went 4 hours, and I did not have an intermission because they overloaded the show with a lot of matches, some of which that, in my honest opinion, didn't need to be on the show. 4 hours of commentary. I honestly got tired of 4 hours of wrestling. No matter if I'm calling it or watching it. 4 hours is the tap out limit for me. Tap out limit. In a WWE where we see the standard of WrestleMania become 7.5 hours, 5.5 hours for a main show, 2 hours for a pre-show, especially for people sitting in Orlando last year, I can imagine how you all felt. Sitting in Orlando, underneath the sun. Some of your visions were completely skewed, possibly, I don't know, because of the glare of the sun or because of some obscure structure that WWE, had a part of the set. Getting up and down 3 or 4 different times to use the restroom. God knows how far the restroom is from where you were sitting in a stadium that fills 90,000 people. If you're drinking, multiply that by 2, 8 or 9 different times that you got to get up and use the bathroom. How many different Budweisers can you go through on a 7-hour wrestling show? Why would you be drinking Budweiser for 7 straight hours at a wrestling show at, I'm assuming, $12 a pop? I would hope all of you have better beer taste than Budweiser or Coors Light. Were they serving Guinness in Orlando at the stadium last year? I don't know. Even still, Guinness, one of my favorite beers. I can't be drinking it for 7.5 hours. You got to throw in a little curveball every now and then. You guys get my point. WrestleMania at 7 hours is way too long. 7 hours for a wrestling show, period, is way too long. We complain every week that Monday Night Raw is long at 3 hours and then the 15-minute overrun. How can we make WrestleMania better? How can we make WrestleMania more epic? How can we make the weekend just an overall even better experience, a more comfortable experience for everybody? I have been one of those guys on here, and if you've been listening to me, if you've been listening to Off the Script or any of the videos where I review Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live, you guys know exactly how I feel about getting wrestlers on the show for the sake of getting them on the show because it's WrestleMania. Not everybody needs to be on the show. Not everybody deserves to be on WrestleMania. Yeah, you might have traveled with the brand all year. You might have worked every house show. That doesn't mean you deserve a WrestleMania spot. That doesn't mean I'm going to put you on the show with no storyline just for the sake of getting you on the show because you're an employee of the company, because you're a wrestler in the company. It doesn't work that way. I don't see it that way. Look at the women's division. I think the women's division right now is the perfect example of getting people on the show just for the sake of getting people on the show. Look at the women right now that are in the top programs on WWE television. Alexa Bliss. You got Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bayley. Mickie James is a Hall of Famer. Mickie James can be put into any situation because of her status in the company. Are you going to put Mickie James on WrestleMania with no build, with nothing behind her character, just for the sake of getting her on the show? I won't. If there's no room for you, if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to put you on the show just for the sake of getting Mickie James' name on the headline for WrestleMania. Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, they really haven't done anything to warrant a WrestleMania spot at all. So getting them on the show, not even a thought in my thought process right now. Look at SmackDown Live. You got Charlotte. More than likely going one-on-one with Asuka, I hope. Fingers crossed. Other than that, what other female on that brand is doing anything right now of any importance to be on WrestleMania's card? Nobody. Naomi is fantastic. Naomi has been one of the best performers in all of WWE for the women. But she isn't in anything right now to give her a spotlight on WrestleMania. You can't put her in a title match. That would just be putting Naomi in a title match just for the sake of getting her on the show when she doesn't even deserve it, nor does it make sense storyline-wise. I love Becky Lynch. I adore Becky Lynch. I wish Becky Lynch was better utilized on WWE television. I think WWE Creative has failed Becky Lynch. Do I want to see Becky Lynch on WrestleMania? Yes. But do I want to see Becky Lynch on WrestleMania just for the sake of getting her on the back of the DVD box in a multi-woman match, or putting her in a women's championship match just for the sake that she's Becky Lynch, or just for the sake of getting her on the show? No, I don't. If WrestleMania is going to continue being 7 hours long, and it's going to continue sucking the life out of everybody sitting at home and watching in the arena, there has to be a different alternative to just make the entire experience that much better. There has to be a different alternative to utilize everyone. If your mentality is, let's get everybody on the show, then work around that idea and come up and formulate ideas in which will make the show that much greater. Instead of getting everybody on the show just for the sake of, let's get everybody a payday. What I've come up with today is the absolute best vision I can for WrestleMania. What I'm about to present to you is my vision right now, currently, that I see on WWE television. This is not how I'd book WrestleMania. Some of what I'm about to tell you as far as the matches that I think are going to happen are not my complete vision. If I was to fantasy book WrestleMania, I'd change some of the shit I'm about to present to you. You guys know how I feel about Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. That is not a Raw Women's Championship WrestleMania-worthy match to me. That honor should go to Bayley and Sasha Banks. I am taking what we are currently seeing on WWE television. I'm taking what I see the direction is, and I'm going to present to you 2 nights of WrestleMania that I think this year would work. I know it's not going to happen. This is smoke coming out of my ass. But I'm presenting to you, if WWE was to come up with WrestleMania, the 2-night extravaganza for 2018, WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, this is exactly how WWE should formulate WrestleMania moving forward. Instead of giving us close to 8 hours of WrestleMania every year, which seems to be the standard, cut it in half. Cut it in half. Instead of giving me 16 to 17 matches, which is the WWE standard for WrestleMania, cut it in half. Utilize your talent better. Creatively, give me something that will get fans excited. Now, the one question you're probably all wondering is, well, if WrestleMania is 2 nights on Saturday and Sunday, then what happens to everything else? What about the Hall of Fame? What about NXT TakeOver? What about WWE Access? This is a great way to not only expand the week of WrestleMania week, but it gives more options to the fans. It gets fans more excited. Whichever city you're in, more than likely you're going to be making more money off WrestleMania and the WWE if WrestleMania was a 2-night event. Because in my mind, the way WrestleMania is built up, WWE usually gives you 4 or 5 huge top-drawing matches. So if WrestleMania was a 2-night show, why wouldn't the fans who go to night 1 not go to night 2? If you're already committed to night 1, if you're already committed for the weekend, if you're already committed for the week, why would you not go to night 2? Why wouldn't you go to 2 nights? And you know WrestleMania is a magnet for everybody in this industry outside WWE to flock to the same city because everyone knows Ring of Honor, New Japan, PWG, Evolve. Everybody who is in the industry, past and present, wherever WrestleMania goes, they will follow. So what if Ring of Honor is holding a Supercard of Honor show on Saturday? Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? You're going to be watching Supercard of Honor? Or are you going to go to night 1 for an extravaganza at WrestleMania 34? And I could see WWE taking great pleasure in that, taking away Ring of Honor's audience, sticking it to those other guys who are trying to leech off WWE for WrestleMania weekend. Certainly not out of the question. Everything else simply would be pushed back. WrestleMania would take place on Saturday and Sunday. NXT TakeOver would take place on Friday. The Hall of Fame would take place on Thursday. Access could be Tuesday, or actually on Wednesday. Make Access one day. Or Thursday in the afternoon, right before the Hall of Fame. If you want 2 days of access, right? Wednesday and Thursday in the afternoon. Thursday night, the Hall of Fame. Friday, NXT TakeOver. Saturday, night 1 of WrestleMania 34. Sunday, night 2 of WrestleMania 34. Monday and Tuesday would be Raw, go home. SmackDown, go home. The entire week is filled. The entire week is filled. Then it bleeds into next week. Raw after Mania on Monday. SmackDown after Mania on Tuesday. You have an entire block filled, the entire week, the entire city taken over by WWE. Instead of just that small little weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not only is it good for the city, but it's even more for the fans to engage in. And like I said, WWE would take great pleasure in taking the audiences away from all these other leeches that leech off WWE during the week just because WWE is in town and WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year for professional wrestling. That's my logic behind that. It could work. It could work. Is WWE going to do this? No, they're not. I'm just giving you a vision of what it could be if WWE wanted to go down this road. Now, how would I book WrestleMania? How would I book WrestleMania? I've given you all the reasons that I possibly can to ensure that this does make sense. It is a feasible thought. WWE usually has 4 or 5 major marquee matches on WrestleMania, and then they fill in the holes everywhere else, which usually takes up the majority of the undercard, filled with multi-man or multi-woman matches, a battle royal that means nothing in the grand scheme of things, a lot of filler underneath the big 4 or 5 marquee matches. So what I would do, night 1 and night 2, you split the top of the card with all of those marquee matches, and then you fill in the pieces as they see fit going down the card. Getting everybody on the show in a meaningful way. Lessening the idea of giving me multi-man matches just for the sake of getting everybody involved and everybody on WrestleMania. So what would I do? What would I do? What are the big 4 matches going into WrestleMania this year? John Cena versus The Undertaker, rumored, which is more than likely the way that they're going to go. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And then the mixed tag team match between Triple H, Stephanie McMahon against Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. Those are the big 4 matches that WWE will be giving you and pushing hard this year. Instead of having all 4 of them take up a huge chunk of time on the show, why not split those 4 matches between 2 nights and then fill in the rest of the puzzle as you see fit? Night 1 would be headlined by the WWE Championship. That would be your main event. WWE wants to hype the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to main event WrestleMania. Are they? Over Roman? No, they're not. So Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. He's the 2018 Royal Rumble winner. Along with that, you get to headline WrestleMania. No. The opening match on a 7-hour show is not headlining WrestleMania. Nakamura and AJ Styles deserve a headlining act. WWE Championship title match would headline night 1. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Underneath that major match, you're going to need a co-main event. There's 3 other matches that WWE has that they're really pushing for this year. Right underneath AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, I'd have a career versus career match. John Cena puts his career on the line because this storyline is going to drive him into depression. He doesn't know if he has what it takes anymore to be a major asset for WWE at WrestleMania. He doesn't know if he's worth WrestleMania anymore. He's going to go into doubt, and he's going to put his career on the line just for the sake of enticing The Undertaker to come out of retirement. I want WrestleMania. I want the match that we haven't seen at WrestleMania yet. I'm willing to put my career on the line just to have you stare across me from the ring. That's what I want. John Cena versus The Undertaker. Career versus career would headline night 1. The Intercontinental Championship match. Triple threat already announced. Miz, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. So right now you're already seeing I'm mixing Raw and SmackDown matches on night 1. And that was always my focus. Mixing brands. It is a dual-branded pay-per-view. Some of you came to me in the poll that I put on Twitter. You, and a lot of you, said, well, night 1 could be for Raw, night 2 can be for SmackDown. So night 1 could be for Raw, night 2 could be for SmackDown. No, that's not WrestleMania. That's just garbage. You got to mix and match. You got to make the shows feel important. If it's a dual-branded show, feature everybody on the show in the same capacity. Don't separate the brands. Keep the brands exclusive with their matches. You're not going to see Raw versus SmackDown guys on a show, but you're going to see Raw and SmackDown matches on the same show. Miz versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Triple threat match. Usos Best tag team in the WWE may very well be the best tag team in the entire world. WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Simple. It's where WWE is going with it. Don't stray from it. The New Day have seen their day. Benjamin and Gable have had many opportunity at the Tag Team Championships. No reason to put them in this match simply to get them on the show and give me another fatal four-way tag team match, which we've been seeing all year long. We don't need to see it. Give the Usos their match, their spotlight against another opposing team that deserves the opportunity. The Bludgeon Brothers have been built up. You give them the opportunity against the Usos instead of having them go against two other teams and the Usos. Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Cruiserweight Championship. Instead of putting it on the pre-show like they did last year, where Neville and Austin Aries gave you a 20-minute great match, didn't even make the back of the DVD box because the pre-show isn't part of the main show. No matter what Mr. Jesse James is talking about, that clown who's ruining SmackDown Live, or at least part of the reason why SmackDown Live is so garbage. Cruiserweight Championship would have an opportunity to be on the main show in front of 80,000. Especially with the way 205 Live is coming around. And the athleticism and the wrestling talent and the in-ring product that we're seeing. Why wouldn't you want to put that in front of 80,000 people, in front of all those eyes, especially now with the way the direction of the show is going, to get these guys over? You're going to put those guys in front of 80,000 people. They're going to admire their work, and more people are going to be opening their eyes till they're like, what the fuck, this is what I'm missing on 205 Live? I got to watch 205 Live on a weekly basis now. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. That is my prediction for the... That's my prediction, and that's what I would book. I was hoping it was Roderick Strong, and Cedric Alexander, but they were on the same side of the tournament. So that's what we're going to get, in my opinion. That's what I think the best match is. Cedric Alexander, long overdue for a championship title reign. This is the same guy that people were chanting, please sign Cedric, at the Cruiserweight Classic. Triple H came out, gave his thank you, shook his hand, brought him to the back because he was so teary-eyed at the reaction that he got after his match with Kota Ibushi. Mustafa Ali, one of the most underrated talents in all of the company. Didn't really care about him at first because I thought he looked generic. When you watch this guy wrestle, when you watch this guy sell, this guy is a superstar. That would be a great final for the Cruiserweight Championship. Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Now, if I had my perfect way, this would be for the Raw Women's Championship. But that's not going to happen. It looks like WWE is going in another direction. But WWE is building Sasha Banks and Bayley and the tension between them that looks to be heading in the right direction for Sasha because we want her to turn heel. But this could also be great for Bayley too, as Bayley needs some aggression in her character. Now, if these women were on one big show, then you would put them in between everything else and there'd be 5 women's matches on the main card for WrestleMania. We don't want that. 5 of your 15 matches for WrestleMania would be women's matches? No. It's not what I call a WrestleMania, man. That's a little bit too much of this women's evolution. Give these women a spotlight. Give these women 20 minutes to go out there and recreate the classic that they did at Brooklyn TakeOver #1. They deserve it. Sasha Banks being left off of WrestleMania's card is a real possibility this year. Is WWE going to book a grudge match with Bayley at WrestleMania? We don't know. We don't know. With all the rumors going around that there's going to be a women's invitational battle royal or a fabulous Moolah battle royal, they may be delegated to nothing more than a battle royal. Sasha Banks doesn't deserve that after what I've been saying all year coming out of last year's WrestleMania. She's been the best in-ring female performer on Raw. Possibly out of both Raw and SmackDown. She certainly deserves a lot more than what she's been given. And don't give me the bullshit, oh, she sucks, or she ruined Paige's career. Don't give me none of that shit. You're nothing but an ignorant goon. Sasha Banks and Bayley should be for the Raw Women's Championship because Alexa Bliss right now is trash. The way she's been booked is horrific. has done nothing with that championship. And honestly, the WWE have kept it on Alexa Bliss for whatever reason, and I can't figure out why. Nia Jax doesn't belong in the women's championship title picture. She hasn't won all but one match this year against a jobber. She's lost to Asuka 3 times. How does that warrant a women's championship match? Why, because Alexa made you cry? Because we have to feel bad for you? Night 1, if I had my way, if WrestleMania was 2 nights, Bayley and Sasha Banks. Clearly, it would be for the title, but I'm going based on what we're seeing right now on WWE television. Bayley versus Sasha Banks in a last woman standing match. That's what I would do. That's exactly what I'd do. I'd have another women's match on this show. SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte versus Asuka for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal would get everybody on the men's side who's not featured in a WrestleMania match on the show. JD wears Elias. JD wears Rusev. JD wears Aiden English. And everybody else that we deem catering worthy. They'd be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And WWE has some really, really great talent right now that's being pushed that could be featured prominently in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. What if it came down to Elias and Rusev, the final 2 guys in the Battle Royal? That's exciting stuff. Either one of those guys could win it. We'd love if either one of those guys won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because they're being pushed on television. They will continue. Well, Elias, I don't know about Rusev. Rusev seems to be getting over on his own, and WWE keeps pushing the leash back. They keep pulling the leash back. But still, Rusev in front of 80,000 people, who wouldn't want to see him win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? And everybody loves Elias. Give these guys the spotlight to shine. I think that'd be great. JD was Braun Strowman. What would you do with Braun Strowman? Well, the rumors are going around saying that Kurt Angle's going to change the 3-way for the Intercontinental Championship into a 5-way. We don't want that. That goes to show you exactly what I've been saying in the beginning of this video. You're adding people to matches that is completely unnecessary. You're adding Braun Strowman to an Intercontinental Championship match when he has nothing to do with The Miz, Balor, or Seth Rollins. Why? Because there is no other place for him on the card? Make a place for him. You're going to add Elias to this triple threat match when he has nothing to do with either one of these 3 guys? You're adding him for the sake of adding him. Make a spot for him. Universal Championship number 1 contender match. And WWE can do this with 5.5 weeks left to go. Crossing my fingers he comes back because I don't want to see him miss another WrestleMania because his body of work before he got injured has been fantastic. Braun Strowman can make a case that when this Universal Championship title match between Reigns and Lesnar is over, he wants either one of those guys to get these hands. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe comes back and can clearly state, listen, before I got hurt, I was the one who promised to take Roman down. I already went to war with Brock Lesnar. Whoever comes out of that winning, I want my shot. Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe could easily be a number 1 contenders match. And either one of those guys could vie for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania. I think Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe could have a battle, a war. And that is, to me, WrestleMania worthy. That would be your night 1. Styles, Nakamura, Undertaker, Cena, Miz, Balor, Rollins, Usos, Bludgeon Brothers, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali in the finals of the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. Last woman standing match. A recreation of what they did in NXT. Give them the stage at WrestleMania. Banks versus Bayley. Charlotte versus Asuka. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe. No particular match order. That's what I do for night 1. Give me the match order as you see fit. Night 2. Night 2 would be headlined by everybody's favorite Roman Reigns Universal Championship title match would headline night 2. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. If it was up to me, it'd be Nakamura and Styles on night 2, closing out WrestleMania weekend. But we all know that's not possible with Roman Reigns on the roster. Got to give Vince's guy his 4th coronation. Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship would headline night 2. The other match that WWE is pushing hard this year, the other marquee match. You need a co-main event, just like night 1 had Undertaker versus John Cena in a career versus career match. Mixed tag team match, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. That would be your co-main event for night 2. U.S. Championship match. There we go. Throwing another SmackDown Live match in there. U.S. Championship match. This would be one of the only multi-man matches I have outside the Intercontinental Championship on this show. U.S. title match. Bobby Roode defending against Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, and Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger. Yes. Hopefully he's still employed and not making workout tip videos on Twitter. I would have this be your resident ladder match at WrestleMania. Now, I've been very critical of the way they've booked Dolph Ziggler. I've been very critical of his excuse for coming back after being away for 2 months. I don't want to see him fight for the WWE title and then automatically say, okay, I lost that. Let me go back to what I was originally doing with the U.S. title. It wouldn't really make sense. Why did he give up the U.S. title to begin with? He already had the title, gave it up, and now he's got to fight for it against 5 other guys? Yes, I know it doesn't make any sense, but what else are you going to do with Dolph Ziggler at this point if he doesn't win the title Sunday at Fastlane? That's an intriguing match right there. The way I would have done it is I wouldn't even put Ziggler in this match to begin with for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. I would have had Ziggler come out with a brand new United States Championship and proclaim that I'm back, nobody ever beat me, I walked away as far as my contract negotiations go, and the only reason why I walked away was because I wanted WWE to give me more money and extend my contract. Play into real life. Have him come back with a new United States Championship. Listen, nobody ever pinned me for the title. Nobody ever beat me for the United States title. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the real United States Champion. Have a take on what HBK and Razor Ramon did at WrestleMania 10. We all knew Shawn Michaels was the real Intercontinental Champion, which he was, by the way, in 1993. Nobody ever pinned him. Michaels had a great year in 1993. Marty Jannetty at the Royal Rumble, Tatanka at WrestleMania 9, Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam, Crush during King of the Ring, right? He had a great year defending that title. He was the best heel in the company. Then he got suspended for 30 days for some illegal substance. They needed the Intercontinental Championship on the TV because they only had 3 championships at the time. Had a match between the model Rick Martel and Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon won the fake Intercontinental Championship. So Michaels came back and said, listen, nobody ever beat me for the fucking title. You're a fraud. So they put both titles on the line at a ladder match at WrestleMania. Same concept here. Guess it would have been a rehashed idea, but it makes a lot more sense than what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler now. That's what I would have did. That's my match. Roode, Orton, Mahal.
The make-believe Maharaja.
Yeah, that guy. One of the worst WWE champions of all time. Mahal, Ziggler, Corbin, Dillinger. Great match right there. All the women who aren't going to be featured at WrestleMania. Becky, Natty, Carmella, Naomi. Everybody. Even some NXT talent. Get them involved. Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. Night 1 seeing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. You want to get the women on the show? Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal on night 2. There you go. Raw Tag Team titles. Bar right now has no competition. And no clowns. The Young Bucks are not going to be at WrestleMania, no matter how hard they troll on Twitter. Would I love to see it? You bet your fucking bottom dollar I'd love to see the Young Bucks versus the Bar. I would love it. If WWE would bring them in, it would be probably the biggest story of the fucking year. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. Why would the Young Bucks openly challenge the Bar at WrestleMania? If that was the plan, If WWE wanted the Young Bucks to be at WrestleMania to fight the Bar because the Bar has no competition, they wouldn't have the Young Bucks go out openly on Twitter and just troll everybody with constant tweets that they're going to be at WrestleMania. If they didn't say anything, then maybe the possibility of it happening would be a cunt's hair. But the fact that they're already openly promoting it just lends to the fact that it's not going to happen. So who are the Bar going to face at WrestleMania? It could be anybody. They could really take this storyline and run with it. They have no other competition, which they really don't. They could create a team with a mega... they could create a mega team, you know? They could call up somebody from NXT. They could call up Sanity from NXT. They could call up the Authors of Pain from Sanity. They could debut War Machine on the main roster for all we fucking know. War Machine might very well skip the main roster. I think they get a decent reaction at WrestleMania. Better than decent reaction. And they would win the tag team championships. It would be a passing of the torch. Then the Bar would move over to SmackDown with the upcoming draft. Could be any one of those options, you know? But 2 out of 3 falls, the Bar, realistically, I'd have against the Revival. 2 out of 3 falls, the Bar versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. That's where it looks like WWE is headed with this storyline. I don't know where Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are going to factor in. We all had hopes of Daniel Bryan coming out of retirement and being given a tag team match with Shane against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but I don't think they're going that way. Looks like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going the same route as Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. So I would have a submission match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. End it all. No more for a very long time between these two. After Sami wins this one, they both go on separate brands. Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Self-explanatory. And then the ultimate deletion at the Matt Hardy compound. Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy in the ultimate deletion match. That would be night 2 of WrestleMania. And that's exactly how I would plan it out moving forward. You want to feature everybody on the show? Split it into 2 nights. Because if this was one night, I don't know how anyone could endure any of this. This gets everybody on WrestleMania. This gets a lot of the storylines to be finished. You could start fresh on Monday with the Raw after Mania. And it's not cluttered by multi-man and multi-woman nonsense. I think, honestly, this is the best way to go about it. Saturday and Sunday, WrestleMania 2 nights. TakeOver on Friday. The Hall of Fame on Thursday. Access on Wednesday and Thursday morning, right before the Hall of Fame. Raw on Monday. You got SmackDown on Tuesday. And then WrestleMania week can begin. Let me know what you guys think about that. Seriously, let me know what you guys think about that. Would you change any of the match options here? Would you put something that isn't on night 2 on night 1 or vice versa? Would you switch the matches around? Would you switch anything I have around? Let me know down in the comment section, man. Sound off. The comment section is where you guys can voice your opinion. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And I will see you all for episode 212 of Off the Script on Friday. If you missed Raw, SmackDown, and NXT reviews this week, live on the channel right now, they'll be linked at the top in the top right corner. I'm JD. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys on Friday at the normal time, 5 p.m. for Off the Script episode 212 to begin your weekend, man. I'll talk to you later.